It's game day. Game one of the NBA Finals tip off tonight from Denver on ABC as the 1 seed Nuggets host the 8 seed Miami Heat. Denver looking for their first Larry O'Brien in franchise history, and much has been made of the challenges of playing in the high altitude and mile high. But here's someone not worried about the elements. Coach Spo, talk that talk.
Our guys are in great shape. They're ready to compete. If Denver wants to tip this thing off at the top of Everest, we'll do that. This thing is going to be decided between the four lines. They also got to come back to Miami if we want to make it about that. We'll turn off the air conditioning. They got to play in 90-degree humidity, sap the SHIT out of their legs. This thing is going to be decided between those four lines.
Oh, I'm loving this energy,
Okay.
Stephen A.
Yeah.
He's got the chain out. He's ready to go. It's between the four lines. But tell me this. Do you think Spoelstra is providing bulletin board material here?
I think he is. I think he is because, he's pointing out how ready they are to go. No excuses. We ready to go between the lines. We don't give a damn about the high altitude. We don't give a damn about the conditions of the arena. This ain't going to be LeBron James catching a cramp against San Antonio and all of that stuff years ago. I think it was 2014 when that transpired. He doesn't care. Let's get it on. And that's what you love about him. That's what you love about the Miami Heat. Yes, it could be used as bulletin board material, but so what? This is the championship. You're not ducking anybody. To be the man, you got to beat the man. The number one seed throughout this season has been the Denver Nuggets, at least in the Western Conference. They've been balling. They've got Jokic, a two-time league MVP, reigning two-time league MVP at the time before Joel Embiid won it this year because Jokic didn't prioritize winning that award because he had bigger fish to fry. Jamal Murray is back in the mix. Last time we saw him in the playoffs for the Denver Nuggets, they were in the conference finals, okay? It's not an accident that they weren't there over the last 2 years because that sniper, that brother, wasn't available. Well, he's available now, okay? You look at Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. You look at Aaron Gordon. You look at Bruce Brown, who's elevated his level of play and letting Brooklyn know you made a mistake by letting me walk out the door. They got a crew, and what Miami is saying, damn it, so do we. Here we come. Sleep on us if you want to, but we've defied the odds throughout these playoffs, and we plan on doing it again. I love it because if anybody can talk it and back it up, it's the coach that is Erik Spoelstra. By the way, a future Hall of Fame coach because he's that elite.
Yeah, I think when it's all said and done, I think he has a chance to be a top 5 coach in NBA history. But regardless of whatever people say, as a former player, I'm going to take that as bulletin board material. You know why? Because I do feel like Denver feels like they are more disrespected than the Miami Heat feel like they are disrespected. Now, that disrespect may have came in the form of all these playoff games, people choosing the Boston Celtics over the Heat, people choosing, their first-round matchup against the Milwaukee Bucks over the Heat. But the Denver Nuggets have been the best team in the NBA all year long, and they have never been the headlines of shows. They've been the afterthought, all right? It's been, what about Phoenix and their scoring power? Now Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, this is over. Or how about Golden State? Or we're going to come back and we're going to win with Steph Curry and Draymond Green. They're going to figure it out. It's going to be Philadelphia and Joel Embiid and he's the MVP. Jokic doesn't deserve to be MVP. The entire year, and it hasn't been the same for Miami until we got to the playoffs. The entire year, though, people have been looking over the Denver Nuggets. So when you hear things like that, for a guy like Michael Malone, okay, after we win our first game against the Lakers, everybody's telling us how much they figured it out with Rui Hachimura. All these things, regardless of what everybody says, the Denver Nuggets are going to look at this as bulletin board material. And my question is, I hear you, Stephen A. on just bring it. Why? But these are all things that crazy competitors, apex competitors, they see that and they're going to use it to their advantage.
So I hear you both, but I think because the Nuggets already have that personality and have this chip on their shoulder, this is not bulletin board material. This is just a conversation leading into the game. I would submit this to both of you to consider. What did you want Spo to say? Oh, we're concerned about the altitude. Like, what? He said this game will be decided between the four lines, which is essentially what every hooper wants an opportunity to do. And so the idea that this is something out of the ordinary, I don't see this as bulletin board material at all. I don't think the Denver Nuggets need any sort of motivation. I don't find this to be antagonistic. Spo is a competitor. The Heat were counted out in every series, as you mentioned, Jay. I think going into this one, they've been 13-5 versus the spread in terms of coming up with wins. This is just a press game conference with a little bit of humor and a little bit of personality from guys that are very competitive. So to me, it's a great soundbite, but bulletin board material? You need bulletin board material and you're in the finals?
Yes.
No, I don't buy it.
Yes.
Sure.
Don't you see what Eminem is doing? This is don't you see what Eminem is doing, Jay? What she's doing is she's thinking about what's being said as opposed to what's being received. That's usually Eminem because Eminem's got that vibrance about her. She's going to articulate and just present herself in such a way where she just pushes her aura forward. Remember Dave Chappelle was imitating Rick James? And he said the aura. He said it's orange. I seeked it. It's orange. You know what I'm saying? That's what she's talking about. This is what she does. She's the only woman on national television that rolls up at 8 a.m., not just 10 a.m., but at 8 a.m. in the morning going like this. You understand? This is what she does. I mean, she thinks about stuff like that. What she's not paying attention to is how it's received. Now, that's not a problem. Don't get it wrong. What I'm saying is the reason why the question is not innocuous in a sense, but we have to appreciate it is because what Erik Spoelstra is basically saying as an undertone, there's a lot of y'all out there that think that we don't belong here. There's a lot of y'all out there that think we ain't ready for this. There's a lot of y'all out there that think we ain't up to this challenge. You must have forgot who the hell we are, and we're showing up. And all I'm saying is, when you think about bulletin board material, if you're the Denver Nuggets, you're like, you know what? Everybody's coming. But guess what? The Miami Heat, we had the biggest chip on our shoulder compared to anybody else we went up against, whether it was Minnesota, Phoenix, or the Lakers. In this finals, we're running across somebody that's hell-bent on showing us. Their chip might be just as, if not bigger than ours, which makes for compelling, potentially very, very compelling NBA finals. That's what we would deduce from this, Eminem. Here's my last point.
Okay.
You got that? You got that?
I got that.
You compete at the highest level. You're telling me that before any game, how did you play your best basketball? Was it when you were
off?
Okay, same, exactly my point. But wait, hold on. It's exactly my point, though. So as people who play better, when they get a little bit ticked off or angry, don't you look for anything, regardless of whether it's meant for you or not, to motivate you for something? That's what the best players in the world have always done.
When you do those kettlebell workouts that I see on your Instagram up at Harlem, when you're doing those kettlebell swings with no shoes on and getting low in those squats,
look,
are you a little fired up?
A little fired up, for sure.
Yeah.
Yesterday I had a lot of need to work out. In fact, I hear y'all, but I just think this is a reach. Like, they had a whole series of them being a dominant winner, sweeping the Lakers. They were like, you need more? Like, you need more. They have plenty
I'm
of
taking anything I can
ammunition.
get. Anything I can. How about as soon as when the game is over, he's like, oh, we can go play another 48 right now. We're ready to go play right now. Like, those are little things that you just hear as a player, like, okay, come on, come play 48 right now.
All right.
Not to mention the fact that even though they were favorites throughout the postseason, the reality of the situation is that you had a lot of people looking at LeBron and Anthony Davis, wondering what kind of noise they were going to be able to make. Prior to that, it was Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, what kind of noise they were going to make. In this finals, outside of the first round series against the Minnesota Timberwolves, they're not to say that they weren't prohibitive favorites before, but they're definitely cemented as favorites in this final series. If the Denver Nuggets do not win this series, this NBA Finals, it certainly will not look good for them. It will be perceived as an incredibly missed opportunity because a lot of people look at it as them having absolutely no excuse to lose this NBA Finals. So we take all of that into consideration as well. That's something that can't be ignored.
All right, let's move on. So yesterday, J.J. Redick had the Nuggets' Aaron Gordon as his X factor in the finals. Gordon talked about the difficulty in containing Jimmy Butler, something often underestimated compared to other greats. Take a listen.
Jimmy's a difficult cover for different reasons than the guys I've guarded in the past, like KD and LeBron, Cat. Jimmy does everything, you know. He does all the intangible things. He gets out in transition. He gets cuts. He gets offensive rebounds. He gets back doors. He gets spin outs. You know, he does a lot of the game within the game, as well as being really skilled. You know, so he's a difficult cover.
Okay, Jay, is Butler harder to guard than LeBron and KD?
Yes. This year he is. There's no doubt about it. You saw Kevin Durant coming back off injury, implemented in a new offensive system that we had a lot of questions around how that was going to work. We've talked a lot. You could sit up there. You can give me the little tired,
Wake up and listen.
I'm bored kind of face. All you want, Mr. Smith. I am preaching the truth right now when it comes to it, and you know it. You know you had questions around Monty Williams and the way he utilized Kevin Durant in that offense. You know that they play better when Devin Booker actually had the ball in his hands, right? But it's still not the old KD that we saw in Brooklyn. It's a KD that was trying to figure out a new scheme with new players and no CP3 to actually orchestrate putting him in a position to succeed. You know that LeBron James at 38 years old, who is still one of the most incredible players on the planet, but still ran out of steam, who was trying to guard Jamal Murray. You know how difficult that was. So at the same time, Jimmy Butler, though, a guy that can get to different spots, a guy that actually has attention to detail and the conditioning is different than the other two. A guy that is one of the best in the NBA at ball fakes, at pass fakes, at unorthodox moves, the way he can utilize his body around the rim. And by the way, you just sat up here and said Erik Spoelstra is the best coach in the NBA. So the best coach in the NBA
I didn't say that. I said he's a Hall of Famer coach.
Is he not the best coach in the NBA?
He's a Hall of Famer.
Is he not the best coach in the NBA?
I didn't say he was the best.
Why are you avoiding
I actually
the
believe
question,
that's
Stephen A?
I'm sorry. Are you not answering directly?
I'm not avoiding the question, Molly. I think the best coach in the NBA is Ty Lue.
Okay. Is he top two?
Top two, top three. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So top two, activating Jimmy Butler with position players around him, best utilizing his skill set. You're damn right, Jimmy Butler is the hardest guard for Aaron Gordon this year in the playoffs. Damn right.
Ladies and gentlemen, throughout this country, and honestly, we're worldwide.
here we go.
My goodness, after
Here we
first
go.
take today, after first, listen,
he
I'm talking
likes
about
his
all of us.
outfit.
I'm talking about, what do you mean? What do you mean, here we go? I'm talking about all of us. I didn't say me. I said
No,
us.
it was
I
just,
said
I
us.
was just wondering
You understand?
why, I was
said
just
us.
wondering why you had to go
Okay.
with the politicians, Stephen A. That's why
Herringbone, chill out, Herringbone. Just wait for me, Herringbone. Wait for it.
I know you like your suit and you got a haircut. Go ahead.
Wait for it.
Running
Okay,
for
I
office.
didn't get a haircut. Actually, it's just a pat down. See, you got it's black people. You get the pat down, Molly. I didn't get a haircut. But that's the point I'm trying to make. Just listen up here. Just listen up here. You know what I'm saying? Pete McConville, don't be jealous, baby. Don't be jealous. Here's the point, man. Here's the deal. All right. I'm just talking to y'all because after first take today, I'm doing an interview in
Here we go.
China.
I knew it.
You know, this is what
You're
it is.
global.
You understand?
Worldwide.
10 cents. You know what I'm saying? They got to hear from a brother. They got to hear from a brother. What I'm trying to
Worldwide
say is this. I
essay.
want the world to know. I love JJ. I love Jay Williams. Jay Williams is my brother. I love him to death. I even let him wear my ties. I even let him go into my office
now
and wear
you
my
let
ties.
me wear
He's
your
sitting in my
ties.
seat. I let him wear my ties. You know what I'm saying? I got number
See how
love
he
for
turns
him.
it? See how he turns it on?
But it's asinine stuff like this that drives me crazy because the man knows basketball. He says stuff just to rile me up. This was a shot at Stephen A. That's what this was. He knew that he was going to get on my nerves with that answer. And he lives to do this, ladies and gentlemen. He lives to do this.
I do enjoy
Jimmy
it.
Butler is great.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler is great. I'm throwing no shade against Jimmy Butler. But harder to guard than Kevin Durant, one of the most prolific scorers this game has ever seen. Harder to guard than 6'9", 260-pound LeBron James, who can take you inside or outside, although his three-point shooting wasn't the greatest this postseason. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.